Hello and welcome. You're watching Tech 24. I'm Julia Seeger. In this edition, we'll tell you more about the fintech revolution and how it's challenging the entire finance industry. We also speak to American rapper turned tech entrepreneur Divine, who's providing financial literacy to people through his fintech startup. And we'll test Hostabee, a connected tracker that allows beekeepers to remotely check the status of their hives using temperature and humidity sensors, as well as weather data and prediction. But first, it's a global tendency. Financial institutions are slowly closing their branches and investing instead in online services and apps, making it easier for customers to conduct a wide range of banking activities while on the go. Banks have no other choice as they must compete with low-cost internet competitors. What's more, it's becoming possible for customers to bypass banks completely and open an account in a supermarket or a telecom shop, as Catherine Clifford explains.
Squeezed in between the pasta and the biscuits, a new product has found its way onto supermarket shelves here in France. The Sésame package offers a bank card and an account for €5 with a low monthly fee.
€1 per month's not a lot compared to other accounts. I pay €3.
The account comes with a debit card and access to internet banking and online statements. However, there are no overdraft options, no checks, a payment system still widespread in France, and all transfers must be digital, with no way to pay in hard cash. It's a concept that has attracted homeless people and struggling students. Traditional French banks have account charges which can add up to €100 a year, so these cards are more affordable. But above all, it's the no questions asked policy that attracts clients who can't access other banks. There's no need for a home address or a clean credit record. Only ID and a mobile number is required. Telecom shops are jumping on the business model. Orange is set to launch its version in July.
The fact we have this capacity to propose both a physical experience and a digital one at the same time on our app and with a presence in our stores means we have something new and useful to bring to a business model that favors the consumer.
The same concept has existed since around 2013, with French startup Compte Nickel selling bank cards from cigarette counters around the country, with some 550,000 clients signing up over 3 years.
That'll be €20 to buy a package with a nickel bank card inside.
It can be opened in just 5 minutes with no income conditions, a godsend for those who've been barred from traditional banking.
This means I can get back to a normal life.
Compte Nickel now finds itself leading the way in what's been dubbed the neobank industry, as the phenomenon spreads in Europe, the US and beyond. The company's now aiming to have 2 million accounts opened in 3 years. It's a concept traditional banks must fight against or embrace. In April, major French bank BNP announced it was buying 95% of the startup.
And I'm now joined in the studio by our in-house expert, Dan and Jay Kadelkar. Hello and welcome, Dan.
Hello, Julia.
We just saw in the report that France was really a vanguard when it came to helping the unbanked. There are similar initiatives in Uganda, in Africa.
That's right. The mobile service provider MTN has launched a product called Mokash, which essentially is a tool for those people who don't have a bank account, but who still want to make use of facilities like small loans, or even they want to save money. So all they need to do is they have to activate this mobile money account on MTN. And how do they do it? They do it by just calling a certain number. So it's very simple. And once they do it, they can take microcredits, they can borrow loans for a period of 30 days and repay them using their mobile phones. And the biggest advantage of this service is that there's no intermediary like banks. So the rate of interests are also quite low and there are no transaction fees. So that works in favor of both the provider and the person who's using this service.
And now, according to the Brookings Institute, financial or banking inclusion is tightly linked to access to mobile phones.
That's right. We have seen this in many developing countries, that the number of mobile phone users far outnumbers those who have bank accounts. So in order to bridge this imbalance, there are many startups in countries like, for example, India, which are making use of this deep mobile penetration to help people avail these banking facilities, but without having a bank account. So for example, in India, there are 2 startups called Fair Cent and Anytime Loan, which essentially is a lender and borrower service. So it is a peer-to-peer service, so anyone can be a lender and anyone can be a borrower. Of course, there is a thorough verification process of both the parties, and once that is done, the loan is dispersed by using an algorithm. So the algorithm determines the amount of the loan period, and the rate of interest. Again, the biggest advantage in this is that there's no intermediary, the bank. So as a result, the borrower as well as the lender, they get great rate of interest compared to what they would get by using some financial institution.
Well, we're going to keep on talking about how the fintech revolution is helping the unbanked with our guest in New York City, hip-hop artist and tech entrepreneur Divine. Hello and welcome to the show.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
You just created the startup Blak Fintech to provide financial literacy and entrepreneurship education to people. It's intimately linked to your personal experience. So tell us more about the story behind Blak Tech and what it stands for.
Oh, okay. So Blak is an acronym that stands for Build and Leverage Acquiring Knowledge. It's more so a process of basically trying to acquire knowledge, or the acquirement of knowledge, and then using that knowledge, leveraging that knowledge, and building success for yourself. So fintech, because I came into financial technology, I started looking at how could I create something that had social impact, that tied to who I was, and resonated with other people that come from the same background or the same circumstances or conditions. So that was how I kind of thought about Blak Fintech and brought it all together, because technology is at the forefront of the world. It's innovative. It permeates our daily lives at this point, and it's only going to keep growing and getting stronger in that regard. So I wanted to make sure that I had the technology component, that I had the financial component, and I wanted to make sure that I could inspire people and motivate them towards this financial and economic empowerment.
And you're about to launch the Blak Card, and with this system, you're giving a social status again to the unbanked. How does it work, and why is financial inclusion so crucial to you?
Well, again, financial inclusion, it goes back to me being somebody who was excluded, who always was looking for a way out of being impoverished and being in poverty. Unfortunately, I took a negative way. I was young. I took a negative route. And so I wanted to make sure that I had something that really included people in a formal financial economy so that they could empower themselves, again, both financially and economically. So with Blak Card, I started ideating Blak Card in a way to strip the stigmatization away from debit cards, prepaid debit cards being a negative. I wanted to create a financial tool, which is why I started ideating the Blak Card. And it's something that we can, the technology that we're building will allow us to actually issue real bank accounts. So that's what we're looking towards. We're still building it out and trying to figure all that out. But I did attach a financial literacy and entrepreneurship component to it for the social impact. And if you notice, I specifically say entrepreneurship education, because I want to take somebody from financial literacy and then say, once you get that component, how do you then leverage that to build success or to build wealth? Well, the next step would be entrepreneurship education, something that I lacked, something I didn't have, and something I had to figure out on my own. So that's how it all ties together.
Well, thank you so much, sir. That was hip-hop artist and tech entrepreneur Divine. We're going to move on now to Test 24. Saving the world one beehive at a time. That's what Hostabee, a French startup, is trying to do with their IoT-based hive system that enables beekeepers to monitor the bees and the honey production from a distance. Well, Dan has changed and slipped into a beekeeper's suit. Tell us more about this system.
Well, all my dreams come true on Tech 24. I always wanted to be inside a beekeeper suit, and now I'm here. So this system is essentially it's a small box made by Hostabee, a French startup based in Saint-Antoine, which is in northern France. It was launched in 2014 by Maxime Moulars. And what it does is it has sensors, two sensors, which detect temperature and humidity. So you put this box in between two frames and let it monitor all these parameters. It also has a GPS, So it is an anti-theft GPS to prevent the...
And it's linked to your smartphone.
Exactly. So it is connected to your smartphone. There's a web-based app, and the app tells you all the parameters, the temperature and the humidity. And an expert beekeeper, of course, he will know if there's any difference, or if it's not at an optimal level, then he has to take certain measures to ensure that the temperature and the humidity is maintained.
And now scientists have had another idea, which is to create bee robots to replace bees.
That's right. That's by the Weiss Institute. So they have created these bee robots. I'm struggling a bit to get this off. They have created bee robots because, according to the latest data, the bees are an endangered species. So in order to protect bees, and they play a very important role in preserving our ecosystem, because not only do they help in honey production, as in case of honeybees, but they are also important messengers or important elements in pollination. So that keeps the balance of the ecosystem.
Flowers.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's why bees are an integral part of our ecosystem, and preservation of bees is very important. And so, of course, these artificial bees, they won't replace the natural bees, but it's a way of at least helping in pollination if the numbers are dwindling. And then there is, of course, this institute in Australia called the Central Scientific Industrial Research Organization, which has developed a sensor, a backpack, essentially a backpack, which is attached on the bees. And so they monitor each individual bee, and they determine the parameters like pollution, effect of insecticides, temperature, their eating patterns as well, to determine what really affects them, and then to take the subsequent measures.
Well, we hope it will save the bees. Thank you so much, Dan. It's the end of this week's edition of Tech 24. We hope you enjoyed it, and do stay with us here on France 24.